social movements take decades to happen. You know, women worked for the right to vote, the right to own property for 100 years until it finally happened. The ending of slavery took hundreds of years before it finally happened. Civil rights for minorities took hundreds of years, but it did happen.
But it is difficult. As long as the patients and those of us who use it recreationally as well have to fight against a large, ever-growing, corrupt prison industry that supplies cheap labor is poor.
It came as a shock, like a lightning bolt from hell last September when, to my utter astonishment, the DEA raided Wham in Santa Cruz and took the garden down.
My name is Ben Rice, and I'm very proud to tell you that I, for several years, have been Valerie and Michael Corral's attorney and the attorney for Wham. What I'm very, very happy to tell you is, as a result of the arrest of Valerie and Michael, some of our states and actually our country's finest lawyers have signed on to help us. All right. Okay, those are trial lawyers and those are constitutional law lawyers. And those lawyers have joined us because, like me and like you folks, they know what kind of people Valerie and Michael are and what kind of an organization Wham is. These nice people back here, this is Wham, right here. This is Wham. Part of our purpose in being here today is to put a human face on Wham, to introduce to more people Valerie and Michael and this great organization. Because if people understand who they are, understand their suffering, their courage, their determination, and the care, love, and help that they have brought to this community, then it's much less likely that we'll ever see something like what happened in the early dark morning of September 5th. Back here, you can see that these are some of the leading members of our community. Political leaders, we have religious leaders, and medical leaders. They, too, have seen in the work that they do, the great work that Wham has done. That's why they're here today. The support that Wham enjoys in this community cuts across all the political lines. You know, the city council here and the board of supervisors for the county both unanimously voted to a resolution to support Wham and to decry what happened here when the DEA came in on September 5th. And I want to acknowledge the civic leaders who are present here today. I want to start with Marty Warmhout. She's asked to address this community.
As an elected official, I am obviously committed to changing bad law and bad social policy through the legislative process. But when our own government becomes the aggressor against powerless people, I feel I have a higher moral obligation to stand with the powerless, and that is why I'm here today. Thank you.
Thank you, Marty. You know, the top cop in our state couldn't be here today, but No, but this is tremendous. Bill Lockyer has been a friend to Wham. He supports the Wham community and Valerie and Michael in particular. I want to read this quote from him. The letter he wrote to Attorney General Ashcroft, this is a quote, "This is targeting people who, consistent with California voters' direction, are trying to provide medicine to people that are terminally ill and in need of help. For the federal government to step on that, it just strikes me that they're a bunch of big bullies." Our U.S. Representative Sam Farr said he was appalled and praised Wham as an extremely responsible collective. They have operated in a way that has been exemplary. It is not reassuring to me to know that federal agents, instead of concentrating on issues of national security, are running around the mountains of Santa Cruz County, disrupting the work of people who provide a valuable medical resource to the community. Make sure I have this quote right. Well, I want to point out that we have the Santa Cruz City Council here. Mayor Christopher Crone.
That's all I'll do. Thank you all for coming. Very few words today from the politicos. I just wanted to thank, and I hope you will with me, I'm going to introduce the Santa Cruz City Council members who are here with us today and stand shoulder to shoulder in support of Wham. We have Vice Mayor Emily Riley. Would you all sort of come forward so people can see you? We have Council Member Tim Fitzmaurice. We have Councilmember Scott Kennedy. Thank you, thank you. We have Councilmember Mark Premack. And we have somebody who has supported this for a long time, long before I was mayor, and who is a council candidate, Mike Rotkin. Please come forward. Can I get everybody? Excuse me, last council member that's also here, Ed Porter. Excuse me, and that's really all. And today is patience. Who are behind me? Patience. It's about patience. Thank you.
Our next speaker is going to be Dr. Arnie Leff.
As many of you know, I have been an AIDS doctor here since the beginning of the epidemic. And for a few years, I was the hospice medical director and continue to care for hundreds of patients in this community. I cannot tell you the times I have blessed Valerie and Michael Corral for being there for patients. Patients of mine who have tried everything without success and obtained relief from the herbal medicine provided by Wham. One telephone call and that patient would receive not just medication, but also support of other patients who are also in desperate need. Hundreds of these patients are no longer with us. They're no longer physically here, though I am sure that they are pleased with the support that they are being shown today. How things have gotten out of hand as to criminalize a relatively safe herbal medicine and prohibit its use by terminally ill people and others who are significantly ill. How did this happen to us? The federal government and our legislators continue the policy which classifies this herb as if it were crack cocaine or methamphetamine, or for heroin for that matter. What message do we send our young people when the obvious untruths are promulgated by our agencies? We should say quite clearly to them that medicinal medicine is not recreational medicine. They are different things. This is not about a bunch of people getting high or lighting up a joint. In fact, just the opposite. Sometimes patients often complain they get high from the prescription medicine Marinol. By using Wham's herbal medicine, they are able to not get high and just have their appetite improved and their nausea corrected. It's sort of ironic that the drug that's approved by the federal government sometimes makes people more high than the so-called herbal medication that Wham is providing. Today, we honor our courageous patients and their supporters. I can only hope, as one caring physician among many, as one medical professional among any, that the federal government will eventually change its policy, a simple administrative edict to classify this herbal medicine as what it truly is, an effective drug for those who are ill and suffering. Thank you very much.
I wonder if we all yelled loud enough they'd go away, but I rather doubt it. Our next speaker... Okay. No. It's not going to... No. Okay. Our next speaker is Dr. Josh Schiffman from Stanford University. Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you so very much for coming out today to support Wham and Valerie and Mike. Everyone deserves a round of applause. Let me tell you why I'm here today. I'm here because I've taken an oath as a physician to ease human suffering. Now, I am a young doctor. I'm just starting out in my career, and I have actually never prescribed nor recommended marijuana to any patient before. But let me tell you how I found myself here real quickly. One afternoon, I read an article about Wham in a local newspaper, and I was blown away. I had cared for many dying patients, children, and adults. And I said, this is an organization I need to learn about. And I called Valerie on the telephone, and I spoke with Valerie, and I later came to speak with Mike, too. And anyone who's spoken with these individuals knows that they're full of love for everyone, full of compassion. And through them, I was able to meet the other members of Wham. And I have to tell you, as a doctor, I have never seen more medicine, better medicine, more humanistic medicine delivered than by the members of the Wham organization. These people up here, to my left, to my right, this is what being a doctor is about. This is what taking care of people is about. This is what being a human being is about. There's no beeping monitors. There are no pulse oximeters going off or alarms in the night or IV tubing. These are just people loving people. And it's all because of these two individuals up here. So as a physician, my plea is not to make this a battle about state versus federal rights, My plea is to make this a battle about the patients. And please, no matter what, Mr. Bush,